On August 3rd, U.S. Soccer made an announcement that had the international soccer world doing a legitimate double take after a round of 16 exit at the home World Cup that felt like the same old story. They didn't fire Mauricio Pochettino. They extended him through 2030, 4 more years for a coach who just watched his team get dismantled 4-1 by Belgium in Seattle. And the reaction? It's been fascinating because this isn't just a coaching decision anymore. This is about whether American soccer has finally arrived at a place where the rest of the world takes it seriously. Let's break down how the world is reacting to Pochettino staying with the USMNT, why it matters, and what it tells us about where U.S. soccer actually stands on the global stage. First, let's set the table. The 2026 World Cup was supposed to be different. Home soil, 3 host nations, a USMNT squad with genuine talent led by a world-class coach in Mauricio Pochettino, who took over back in September 2024 after the Copa America disaster under Greg Berhalter. This was the moment American soccer was going to make the leap. And in the group stage, it looked like maybe, just maybe, it was happening. The U.S. won Group D. They put 4 past Paraguay. They beat Australia 2-0. Sure, they lost the group finale to Turkey, but they'd already locked up first place. Then came the round of 32, a 2-0 win over Bosnia and Herzegovina. The knockout rounds. This is where you prove you belong. And then came Belgium, July 6th in Seattle. 4-1. It wasn't close. It was the 4th time in the past 5 World Cups that the U.S. has exited at the round of 16. The same ceiling, the same frustration. Folarin Balogun led the team with 3 goals in the tournament, but when it mattered most, the Americans couldn't find another gear. So when the final whistle blew in Seattle, the assumption was pretty straightforward. Pochettino would walk, or U.S. soccer would move on. That's how these things usually go. A coach comes in, doesn't deliver the breakthrough, and both sides shake hands and part ways, especially a coach like Pochettino, someone who's managed Tottenham, PSG, Chelsea, someone who's been linked to every big job in Europe. Why would he stick around for a program that just proved, once again, it can't get over the hump? But that's not what happened. Less than a month after the Belgium loss, U.S. Soccer announced a 4-year extension. Pochettino's staying through 2030. And not just as head coach, he's getting expanded advisory roles across youth development and coaching education programs. This isn't a 1-year prove-it deal. This is U.S. Soccer saying, you're the guy, build the entire thing. And American fans, they're split right down the middle. One camp is celebrating this like it's a massive win. The message is clear. We have the pull to keep a world-class manager. We're not a stepping stone anymore. We're a destination. And there's something to that. Think about it. Pochettino has turned down jobs in Europe's top leagues to stay with the U.S. That's not something that happens to programs that don't matter. That's not something that happens to a federation that's still seen as a developmental league for coaches. The other camp, they're not buying it. The skepticism is loud. He'll leave the second a big Premier League club comes calling. This extension is just optics. He's not actually staying 4 years, and you can't totally dismiss that. Pochettino has a track record in Europe. He knows that world. If Manchester United or another giant comes knocking in a year, does this contract really hold? But here's where it gets interesting. The international reaction isn't dismissive. It's not the usual American soccer is cute but irrelevant take. Soccer media around the world is covering this extension like it's legitimate news. Like the U.S. job actually matters now. That's the shift. 10 years ago, if the U.S. extended a coach after a round of 16 exit, the global response would have been a shrug. Of course they did. They don't know any better. But now the tone is different. There's recognition that Pochettino choosing to stay says something about the trajectory of American soccer, that the resources, the talent pipeline, the infrastructure, it's real enough that a coach of his caliber sees a project worth staying for, and U.S. soccer is leaning into that. This isn't just about the senior men's national team anymore. Pochettino's role is expanding into youth development and coaching education. That's the long game. That's the federation saying, we're not just trying to win in 2026 or 2030. We're trying to build a system that produces world-class players and coaches for decades. So what does this actually mean? Let's talk about the implications. First, for the 2030 cycle, this is stability. The U.S. doesn't have to restart. They don't have to bring in a new coach, install a new system, rebuild chemistry. Pochettino knows the player pool. He knows what didn't work against Belgium. He has 4 years to fix it. That continuity matters. It's the kind of thing that the traditional soccer powers take for granted, but the U.S. has historically struggled with. Second, this is a statement to players. If you're a dual national kid deciding between the U.S. and another country, knowing that Pochettino is locked in through 2030 changes the calculus. It's not a gamble on a coach who might be gone in 2 years. It's a program with a clear vision and a proven manager. That's how you win recruiting battles for the next generation of talent. Third, and this is the part that matters most for the global perception, this is U.S. soccer showing it can operate like a serious federation. The knee-jerk move after a disappointing World Cup is to fire the coach, panic, start over. U.S. soccer didn't do that. They evaluated the situation, decided the foundation is solid, and committed to the long-term plan. That's what Germany does. That's what Spain does. That's what the big programs do. Now, does that mean Pochettino will definitely stay the full 4 years? No. Does it mean the U.S. will make a deep run in 2030? No guarantees. The 2030 World Cup is being hosted by Morocco, Portugal, and Spain, 3 countries with serious soccer pedigree. The competition will be brutal. But here's what this extension does prove. The U.S. coaching job is no longer a punchline. It's not a retirement gig for a past his prime European manager looking for one last payday. It's not a stepping stone for an American coach hoping to prove himself and jump to MLS. It's a legitimate, high-profile position that a world-class coach is willing to commit to for the long haul, and the world noticed. That's the reaction that matters, not the debates on American soccer Twitter about whether Pochettino will actually stay, not the skepticism from the fans who've been burned before. The reaction that matters is the one from the international soccer media, the federations, the clubs, the agents, the people who actually shape the global game. And their reaction is, okay, maybe the U.S. is serious now. Because at the end of the day, respect in soccer isn't given, it's earned. And you don't earn it by firing your coach every 2 years and hoping the next guy is the magic answer. You earn it by building a system, sticking to a plan, and showing that you're in it for the long haul. Pochettino staying through 2030 doesn't guarantee success. But it does guarantee that when the U.S. takes the field at the next World Cup, they won't be starting from scratch. They'll have a foundation. They'll have continuity. They'll have a coach who the rest of the world respects. And maybe, just maybe, that's what it takes to finally break through that round of 16 ceiling. We'll find out in 2030.